So today's topic is home pages. We have quite a bit of content to get through, and the way that this will work will be that I will demonstrate and show you something, and then you will actually have time to practice that. So if you want to go ahead and get logged into your instance of Canvas and open up your sandbox course so you can play along, that'll make your time with me more meaningful. If you just want to sit back, pay attention, take notes, that's okay too. This will be a session where I will pause. You can ask me to demonstrate something again, or if you have any questions, please feel free to post them into the chat box. I'll be happy to address those as they come up. But as you can see on our agenda, we'll take a basic look at what a course template could be, what course flow is, how content is delivered, and some of the visual design concepts. We'll take a look at all the different homepage options that you have inside of the Canvas learning management system, and then we'll take a look at the best practices when it comes to course design. But first, we need to talk about the why. Homepages are often the very first impression of the course for a student. So there are some things we should consider when we're talking about a homepage. I know as a K-12 perspective, the first time a student walked into my classroom, I wanted that experience to be really important, meaningful, and engaging for them. Typically, there were themes associated with the class design. The desks were arranged in a certain way that would demonstrate to the students the type of learning that they would be participating in. And a lot of thought was put into the design of the classroom. The same ideas need to be considered when you're designing a homepage for your students. It is going to be the very first thing that they see when they click into your course. So where do you want your students to go first? What content do you want available to students? Are you going to be using that template that the institution is providing to you? How do you want your students to flow through the content in your course? What is the rate of delivery that you want that? So how quickly do you want students moving through the content in your course? These are all things that we should consider when we're designing a homepage. So in Canvas, we think we're pretty awesome because we actually provide a lot of flexibility when it comes to picking a homepage for your course. You can choose from a course activity stream. You could select the default one, which is modules. You can just have a list of all of your assignments. You can select your syllabus as your homepage, or my personal favorite and one of our most popular ones is using a front page or a content page as your homepage. You also have the ability to show announcements on your homepage, and we can show you how to enable that in your settings. So I wanted to provide you with an example of what a homepage could look like. And so these are just two different examples, but they pretty much contain the same components or aspects. They're just designed a little differently. A best practice at Instructure is that a homepage must include 3 essential elements. It's an image or a banner that represents the course. We also think that having a welcome or introduction video or even a paragraph greeting the students and giving them some glimpse as to what the content of the course will cover is really essential to their success. And options for easy navigation. So those are the 3 things: an image representing the course, some type of a welcome or introduction, and something to show students how to navigate the course. In both of these examples on my screen, you can see that they both include those things. On the left-hand side, it's content driven with biology. There's clear links to modules and content, and there's a description about the course and what to do. On the right-hand side of the screen, it's a basic homepage with a banner image, a welcome paragraph. There's a video for meeting the trainer or teacher, and there's buttons below for quick access in navigation. Banners are really important. They set the stage for your course. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click actually into a course, this one, that I used for the screenshot to demonstrate some of the features here of a homepage. So this banner image just takes the institution's logo and basically introduces the course. This image was designed using Google Drawings. Google Drawings is an amazing free tool that you can use, but that's not the only resource you have. There are other things that are out there, such as PicMonkey, Canva. I personally use PowerPoint presentations to design images. And then there's a bunch of free paid for sites like Photoshop, Microsoft Publisher, and PowerPoint if you don't have the subscription to it. So it's also important to mention that our instructional designers have created a really cool resource, and it's linked in the resource document that I posted into the chat that I'm about to post one more time for those people who are just joining us. The resource document is an amazing tool that has links to do everything that I'm going to show you throughout the presentation. And this image sample size one pager is an amazing tool. Am I saying amazing too much? That our instructional design team that has created to make things a little more simple. So I'll zoom in here so you can view it a little bit better. So they have basically taken the typical size images, such as the homepage banner, and they've put them here in pixels so that you know the size of the image. And they've done the same thing with several different options. And these, again, are just the best practices for home pages within a Canvas or even a content page within the Canvas Learning Management System. The second page of this document is geared towards the Canvas for Elementary interface, which you don't need to be concerned about. But this first page would be really convenient. But we can take this one step further. You heard me mention that Microsoft PowerPoint can also be utilized. And so I also have linked for you, and we'll share in the chat this document that not only has it in pixels, but what the inch conversion is for those images. And what I typically do is I just edit these to be a picture and then I save it. And I will model all of this for you in just a little bit. I just wanted to be you be familiar with the items that we'd be using today. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually come back over to this course. Keep clicking, there we go. And I'm going to navigate to the pages index page here. And this is the home page that you see. I'm going to click on view all pages, and then I'm going to add a page. And this is going to be a playground for us as we dive deeper into creating course images. Okay. So this is what we refer to as the rich content editor. This is your area where you are going to create content. The RCE, or Rich Content Editor, is used throughout all of Canvas, so it's really important that you're familiar with it. You will see it in your assignments, your quizzes, the student text box entry, announcements, quiz directions, the discussion boards. This RCE is everywhere, so if you're not familiar with it, I highly suggest that you do become familiar. These buttons across the top here are typical buttons that you would see in a word processing platform such as Google Docs or Microsoft Word. And the icons here are specialized to Canvas, but not always. So we have our linking, we have insert images, insert media, insert documents, and we'll cover the icon maker in just a little while. But this is the RCE, and this is where we will be building a homepage. So for an example, I'm just going to write a page title of homepage. The page title is considered a text header. It's your text header level 1. And you want to make sure that whatever name you are naming this page is reader friendly to the student, because they will see the page name. The first thing you're going to do in your course is actually put in a banner. So either if you're going to be using Google Drawing, or if you're going to be using a PowerPoint, I'm just going to click over here. I'm going to go to my drive really quick. I have a folder for you guys. Google Drawings. So in here, I have some banner images, but I'm just going to show you quickly how to make one. So I'm going to go to New, I'm going to go to More, I'm going to go to Drawings. So new, more, and drawings. And now I'm going to click on to file and I'm going to page setup. One of the really cool things about Google is that you can determine your page size. So when I click on the drop down, I'm going to go to custom and change this to pixels. And the document says that 1200 by 200 is a really good pixel size for a banner or for your homepage. So it makes the canvas the size of the banner image. And very quickly, what we can do is come in here and add in colors and shapes. I typically get rid of the line and I typically do a gradient fill, but not always. And then you can just add in a text box. Now, if you're going to be using a really dark background, you want to make sure that your font ratio is accessible. So you want to make sure it's really nice and bright. You do have the little eyedropper. So if you have a theme of colors that you want to stick with, you can use your eyedropper and select a color from somewhere else. Let me just pull something up really quick. So I can come in here and grab this eyedropper really again, grab my image. I'm going to come to this image. And so I'm able to actually get the correct colors for an institution if I want to stay on brand. And then I can change my font size. I'm just trying to do this very quickly so we don't waste time. And I want you to have time to play. With Google Drawings, you can insert images that search the web, and these are free licensing sources. So I'm just going to pick a picture of a dog because you already heard me. I have 4 of them. And you can just click and drag them in. He's cute. Once you've made all of the selections that you would like to do for your course banner image, you can go to file and you can go to download. And what's really neat is you can download it either as a JPEG or a PNG file. We do suggest using PNGs because they are a higher resolution image. And it's going to download it right here into my download bar. So now that I'm back in my course, I created a very quick image. I can actually drag and drop that image right into my RCE. I can also copy and paste images that are on other documents into the RCE. I am going to go ahead and click on to image options and make sure that I have alt text for my images. Anytime you have words on a picture, it's really important to include the alt text. It's important to include alt text for accessibility features if there's a purpose for the image on the page. If my banner repeated what I use as my page title, I probably would just mark it as a decorative image. But because they are different, I'm going to make sure that I have alt text. And another new update here is that you can actually come into changes from pixels to percentage. When you have the ability to switch it to percentage, it's going to make it more meaningful to your students because it will adjust your page images depending on the size of the screen that your students are using. So whether they're on a tablet, a mobile phone, or on a desktop computer or laptop, that image will be proportionate in ratio to their screen size. And then select done. So that was very quickly. I just added an image at the top of the page using a drag and drop, but you can also click on your picture image here and you can upload an image and bring up your computer files. So I have a bunch of different images that I use frequently that are here. Okay, so that is how you add a banner image to a homepage. So what I would love for you to do is create a banner. So this is some playtime. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. You can use Google Drawing or any third-party tool that you may be used to create a homepage banner. Go ahead and upload that banner to your rich content editor and make sure to include either the alt text or to mark it decorative using those image options. I'm going to hit play on my timer, and then I will address any questions that you might have as well. So let me just hit play. And I do see someone has their hand raised. You can go ahead and unmute and ask.
Hi, Jessica, thanks. So what you did, you created a banner, which looks great. Thank you so much for demonstrating that. So instead of a banner, can we, because sometimes for some disciplines, for some concepts, it's really hard to find a panoramic image to use as a banner. Can we, how, are you going to show us how we can change a like regular size image, change it to a banner size?
So with that, I'm just going to come over here. So you're saying like a typical sized image, how to adjust that image to fit into a banner.
Yeah, and sometimes even the panoramic image that we get from Adobe stock, they are so thick, so it takes a lot of the page space. So I like the size that you have, 1200 by 200. That's perfect.
Right. So this is another file that I have that is a PowerPoint file. And PowerPoint is a really great tool. If you have an Office 365 suite, you have access to this. So that's why I also wanted to make sure that I showed you this. So here I have that 1200 by 200 pixels, and I have the inch comparison here as well. And what I can do is I usually just make a copy of this. I'm going to create just add a blank slide, and I'm going to paste that. And I'm going to give you the link to this file in just a moment. But what I can do now is I'm just going to get rid of the text that's here. I can come in here and I can do a fill color with this shape as well. So here's my shape. Just give me text header word art. It's here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, so I'm going to come in and I want to change my fill shape. I can come in here. I have the same options for gradient fill that the Google Docs had. So I can come in here and change that shading. I can also come in under more fill colors, and I have the little eyedropper here as well that I can use to find colors that are associated to whatever theme I want. So I could do it that way. And then as far as images go, so here I'm going to select to insert a photo from a file, and I'm just going to pick something that I currently have on my computer. Let's see. That's my timer. Let me see that really quick. All right. So what I'm going to do, I don't want those ones. All right, so I'm going to come in here and just grab a picture and insert it. So this image, well, it kind of fits in there. You can drag, when you're in here, you can drag and drop the image to be the right size. But what I like in here is that you can double click the image and you can crop it. So instead of stretching the image so that it looks poorly, you can choose a section of that image to have displayed in your banner. And then it can be, you can make sure it's in the right size, and then you can just going to select this, and I'm going to save it as a picture. Or I can just copy. Come on, select everything for me. I'm going to copy that, and what I can do is actually physically paste it inside of the space in my page. So cropping a panoramic image, it doesn't have to take up the entire space. If you have a solid color in the background, it's completely okay to do it this way. Again, this is why I wanted to show you that there are two different ways of doing this. It's just, PowerPoint's really neat. I honestly use PowerPoint most of the time because then I can save all of my images in one spot versus having a bunch of different files in a folder.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I also usually demonstrate using Google Drawing because it's free and not everyone has the Office 365 suite. So that I'll bounce back and forth between the two. Okay, so that's your banner. That was our time. Let me click back over here. I hope everyone found it meaningful and were able to upload a banner image. The next component that I want to talk about is the welcome or introduction. So I'm just going to save my changes for now. And I'm going to click back to home. Here we go. In this example here, you can see I have a banner image. I have a welcoming message. And I've included media in this area. What's really neat is that in Canvas, you have the ability to insert media right from your rich content editor. So I'm just going to scroll back to my pages area and view all pages and open up the one that I'm playing with right now and click on edit. And this is where I can come in and I can insert a welcome message. Or I can come in here and insert and record media. So the insert record media button is right here in the RCE. I'm going to click the drop down. I can upload record. I can use course media or I can use user media. These course media and user media are areas inside of Canvas where you already have uploaded content. If you don't have anything and you're starting from scratch, I would use the upload record media. You can drag and find a file from your computer, or you can select record. So this is going to bring up my regular webcam that I'm using, minus my virtual backgrounds. And as you can see, I haven't hit start recording yet, but there are a few nuances with this recorder that I wanted to share. Make sure you smile for a couple of seconds before you hit the start button. So I'm going to click on start recording. Hello, and welcome to your Canvas training course for today. So you can see I kind of have a goofy smile there. It's okay. I can name it or I can start over, but this is a way to embed media and a welcoming message to your students. So you can go ahead and embed that content right there. So the next slide has you creating a welcome video or inserting a paragraph that is meaningful to your topic that you teach. So again, a homepage should include a video or paragraph that greets students to the course. A video is the most effective for engagement, but we understand that that's not something that's always meaningful to you as an instructor. Be careful not to make videos too lengthy or the paragraph too lengthy because research shows that students do not like to scroll on screens. If there's a lot of content that you want to deliver to students, go ahead and make sure that you include that in the syllabus area, which I will show you in a little while. So with that being said, I would like for you to take some time, go ahead, practice using that media recorder. Or just take some time and type out a welcoming paragraph. We're not really covering Canvas Studio today, but it's there. It's a tool. It's pretty neat. And then I'm going to show you how to add a divider when we come back from this 5-minute time for practice. So I'm going to hit the timer. And again, if there's any questions, feel free to post them in the chat or raise your hand and I can acknowledge you to unmute. Yes, Kaltura is another awesome tool. Studio is something that we offer through Canvas. That's why we don't have, I'm not highlighting Studio today, but Kaltura does exactly or essentially the same things that Canvas Studio does. Okay, and that was right about 5 minutes. I want to make sure that I was able to come back on and show you how to add in some type of a divider. Now there is, if you go to insert, there is a horizontal line that you can use that creates a very simple divider. Or you can do the same thing that we did with the banner image. These, the content page footer or page divider can be used. I like the skinnier ones that are 1200 by 1500 pixels. And for time's sake today, I just went ahead and I created some in this course already. So, and I also wanted to show what you could do when you already have content in your course. And I do apologize for the puppy in the background. I'm going to come over here to course images. And this is going to bring up all of the images that I have inside of my Canvas course. So just excuse me 1 second. I'm going to quiet him up for us. Okay. Sorry about that. You know, Got a puppy. All right, so I'm gonna just click on this picture right here because I know it's one of my content dividers, and it very quickly just inserts the image right into my Canvas RCE. And I'm gonna close that up. And now what I'm going to do, it did alert me that I need to make sure I'm checking the accessibility of the images that I'm adding. This time I'm gonna click on the image and go to image options and mark it decorative. It's just for decorative purpose to create separation on the page. It's not adding to the meaning of anything. And again, with this one, I'm going to click on percentage and say done. What this does is it separates a lot of the content so that the eyes have an easier way of following the flow of the course. So I have the welcoming up top, and then below the welcoming paragraph and video, I want to make sure that I'm including something for navigational purposes. So that is where buttons come into play, or just hyperlinks. I know in the higher ed realm, they typically don't like using buttons, but they're meaningful. So what I'm going to do right now is kind of share some background information. Many users out there, and if you go on YouTube and you look at Canvas homepage design, they're using a lot of tables to help line up their buttons on the homepage. But according to webaim.org, the leading resource in web accessibility, tables should be reserved for data and data only. They should not be used for formatting your page. The best way for formatting and using buttons is adding a border around them. So here, as an example, I can come into this workspace and I can grab one of these buttons. So I'm going to grab this one here and make a copy. I'm going to come onto my blank page and paste it here. So this is the traditional button size. You can create a example homepage and place it in modules for faculty. Posting individual files may not be meaningful. Later in the month, we're going to have a leveraging modules session together. And I think by putting everything into a module and pushing the module out into the commons would probably be a better practice. So it's sending everything as a bundle instead of individual images. Or you can have a file, an actual PowerPoint file that you share amongst each other as well. But yes, I agree that sharing content would be really meaningful. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to edit this button. I'm going to get rid of the words on it for now. And I'm going to change my fill, but this is where you're going to go, why are you doing that? So I'm going to change the fill to white. And I'm again, sorry for the puppy. I am going to get rid of my outline. I don't want the outline. It's just a plain white image right here, okay? The next thing I'm going to do is actually add a shape on top of that. So I want my button, my shape to be, I can make it any size that I want. I'm just looking for something fun. So maybe something like this. So I can make this here. So I have my original shape in the background, and you may want to keep the outline of the shape until you get the other image on top. What I'm going to do is change my fill to something fun. We'll do that. And then if I want to add text, I can add text. And then I'm going to just come in here and I want to make my font larger. Anytime you're using font on a page, you're going to want to make sure that it is a readable size. If you make it size 14 or smaller, it's going to be less meaningful. Color. So I'm going to make this one black and I'm going to make it bold. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. I'm going to select both of my images and I'm going to save them as a picture. And I'm going to put it on my desktop for now. I'm going to save it as a syllabus button, and I'm going to save it as a PNG and click save really quick. Now, what I've done is I've created a white border around the image. And this is a trick that our instructional designers use. So when I come to my homepage and I come to insert or upload an image, and I find it on my desktop and I click open, here's the image. I can change the alt text to be the word that's on there. I can mark it a decorative image, and then I'm going to click submit, and it's going to make it really big when it shouldn't, but it's not supposed to be that big. So I come to image options and say small. I want it to be small and say done. There we go. That's much better. But what it's done is it's created this really large border around the image itself. So when I come back to this PowerPoint presentation, if I want to change this to say coursework, and now I'm just going to save picture as. It should be grouped. It should be grouped, so we should be good. And save picture as. We're going to call this one coursework. Desktop, save. So now when I want to insert another image, oh, it just hit the white box. It's because I'm speeding. All right. So what it will do is it's going to create an automatic border or provide what looks like space between your buttons. So thank you. I'm going a little too quickly because I'm a stickler for details and I like things to look pretty. But so basically, you want to just make sure that you have that white border around your buttons so it creates the image or the idea that there's space between them when there's really not. So I say all this to pause yet one more time and give you the opportunity to create a button. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I'm going to turn my video off and take care of this puppy while you work. I do apologize. Let me hit play. You can go ahead. Don't worry about the rich content editor. Go ahead, play in PowerPoint or wherever you have. I'm going to show you the rich content editor next. And that's just about 5 minutes. I am going to stop that timer so it doesn't make the annoying noise. Thank you for your understanding. It is greatly appreciated. So what I'm going to do is go back over to this homepage, and you saw me add in this button here, but there's more things that are available to you inside of your Canvas learning management system. And a lot of these things were born out of feedback from educators, especially during COVID when things were booming really big and a lot of the K-12 teachers jumped on board. Typically, Canvas is more of a higher ed, like you, tool, but it's being used more and more in the K-12 space. So what I'm going to show you right now is the icon maker, which was born out of COVID feedback. I'm gonna click this drop down, and I have the ability to create an icon using the icon maker or to pull up something I've created already in the past. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on Create Icon Maker, and this is going to open up a creative space. I'm going to create a name for this icon. So I'm going to call this one coursework because my other one did not come over very well. Again, anytime you may have words on a button, it's important for the words to be used as the alt text.
Sorry, Jessica, can you please, I missed that. Where did you got the icon, create icon option? Thank you. Sorry for that.
Oh, you're fine. So this little icon right here, it looks like a bunch of shapes, is the icon maker.
Okay, thanks.
And the drop down, you're going to click on Create Icon Maker Icon. I don't know why it's worded that way. It's kind of weird, but this is where you're going to add a name for your icon and include the alt text. If this is going to be just an icon for decorative purposes, you can mark it as a decorative icon. Then you're going to select your shape, and they're very basic shapes. This is not a robust icon building system, but it is free within the Canvas learning management system. And I typically select the circle, the diamond, or the square. Today, I will be different and go with the pentagon. Then you can also choose your size. So extra small, small, medium, large. For today's purpose, I'll pick large. I forget to use my zoom in, zoom out too sometimes. So I forget that I have it. But I'm going to go ahead and make that a large icon. And then once I select an icon color, it will display the sample of it up in the Canvas space. So I've been going with a black and gold theme. So I'm going to stick with the black and gold theme. If you are familiar with hexadecimal coding, this is how you can customize the colors. So you can find a hex code and add that hex code in here to create the color that you're looking for. This is where I'm going to say that yes, you want an outline size, and yes, you want your outline color to match the background color of your page. This is very similar to how I created the big white border for the syllabus button. I now have a big white border for my coursework button. If I want there to be text on the button itself, this is where I'm going to include it. Right now, it's defaulting to displaying the font beneath or below the icon. I can change the size of the wording, and I can change the color if I wanted to. So if I want to come in here and make my font white, you're not going to see it, but then maybe put it in the middle of the icon, then that might be why I want to do it. Right now, I'll keep that there. And you also have the ability to add an image to this icon. So if I click the drop down, I can upload an image that I have saved on my device. I can use a single color image, a multicolor image, or an image that I've already uploaded to the course. The images that are here are very basic and not very robust. So I'm going to go to I usually like the multicolored ones a little bit more. Again, this is it. They're very basic. So here I could pick the book, but then notice that the coursework, it disappears. So I'm just going to click that for now. Once I've made all of my selections, all I have to do is click apply. And you can see it's now added that button in my course, and it's given me space where it looks like there's an actual space between them. So again, that is using the icon maker. It's a really great tool to have access to if you just want to do something very simple and plain and get it done with. Of course, there's other tools that you can use like the Button Factory and Google Drawing or Photoshop or Microsoft Publisher, or you saw me use PowerPoint. There's a lot of tools out there for you. The best way to use buttons without adding them to a table for accessibility is to make sure that you're including that white border around your custom-made buttons. You can put your buttons directly next to each other, but they will appear like there's a space between them. You can also resize these buttons by clicking and dragging them, or going back to your image options and changing the ratio sizes here. So right now I just want it to be small. I can say done. Over here, I can edit this icon. Instead of having a large icon, I can say I want a small icon. I would probably choose to have the text be a little bit smaller too. And I would save a copy of it. So this is going to create a copy so that now I have that in there and it's saved. Another important thing to know is that you can actually link content to these icons. So if I click on syllabus, I can actually have this be a button and make it direct students to another place within the Canvas learning management system by clicking here. So that's what I'm going to click on, this link icon. And I'm going to say course link because I want to keep my students in my course. And this is where you have the options to select individual pages, individual assignments, quizzes, announcements, discussions, and modules, or you can have them go to course navigation and select the syllabus because the syllabus is part of your course navigation. What I want to do is select coursework right now. I don't have a module yet. We'll have to, I'll have that one go to an assignment. Okay. So those are linking. I'm going to click on here to see what's going on. This is supposed to say coursework, but I'll make sure it says it now. And I'll click apply. And then I'm going to save my work, save and publish. So now on this home page, when I hover over the buttons I've created, I now get the finger that's pointing me to the actual workspace. So when I click on syllabus, it will take me to the course syllabus. So I know that we already did this. I'm just going to change the timer. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to give us 2 minutes to go ahead and see if you can either create a new icon using that icon maker and then link your button to another place inside your course. Again, if you have questions or want me to demonstrate something again, I'm more than happy to do so. You can either raise your hand to be acknowledged or post your question in the chat. Okay, that was 2 minutes. So there's some other considerations to make as well. Oops, sorry, I'm scrolling on my page again. Some of the considerations that we need to think about are that all of the images are the same size and the same shape on your page. So in my current example on my home page, you'll notice as I wait for it to load, that these buttons are all of the same shape, they're the same color, and it creates a visually, aesthetically pleasing site. If I go back to my page that has differences, the sample homepage that I've been building, this is not best practice. It doesn't have flow. The color contrast between these images is close together, but there's still a sharp contrast that my eyes don't know where to look first. So just make sure that your images are the same size and pixel size and have a uniform look to them. They don't have to be exactly the same, but there should be some type of theme or sense that they belong together. So once all of this information is done and you think it's the best thing ever, you're going to want to do a few things. You want to set it as your front page after you check your accessibility. So you saw me press this button down here in the bottom right-hand corner. It's our accessibility checker. It's a really great tool that lets us know if there's any major issues on the page that are not accessible to screen readers. If you are using your text headers here, make sure that you are using them in sequential order or hierarchical order, because that is the order that screen readers read them on a page. You also want to make sure that any images or text that you have on the page is not too large or too long, because you don't want students having to scroll up and down, left and right. And you want to make sure that your text color has enough contrast to the background color and is large enough to be read on most screens. So some things to keep in the back of your head. So once you think everything is fantastic with this page, you're going to need to set it as your front page. So once you select the page, you can go to your 3-dot kebab, your skinny little snowman. I've heard it called a hot dog. And one of the most recent ones was Disney dots, because they open up a whole new magical world. Thought that was adorable. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say use as front page. So when I select that, it's going to say that it's the front page. I get my little pill right here. It says front page. I'm going to click back to home. And what I'm going to do eventually, when I get there, is I'm going to go to the right and say choose home page. And I'm going to make sure that it's front page option is selected. And then I'm going to click save. So I'm going to give you about 1 minute to go ahead and set your home page. Well, it says 2 minutes, but I don't think you really need 2 minutes. It's a quick one. I'll give you about a minute to set your home page, and then we'll talk about all those other options that displayed when I brought that up. And that's about 1 minute. I hope you're able to set that home page. Okay. So in review, oops, too far. In review, home pages without tables are more accessible and will adjust to various screen sizes. If you have to use a table on your home page, please limit it to only 3 columns. I can't emphasize that enough. Banners and graphics should all have alt text for screen readers, and you should always view your homepage in student view before sharing. So what you can do is from your homepage, I'm just going to come back to my actual homepage. That's a lot prettier right now. Nope, I already selected. Oh, well, all right. So I'm going to click on student view in the top right-hand corner. And this is going to allow me to experience the homepage just like my students would if they were clicking into the course for the very first time. I'll leave student view. So what I want to do is talk about some of these other homepage options that we have. From your homepage, you can go back to choose homepage, and there are actually 5 different. Okay, you're welcome. I am glad you got something meaningful. Remember, this is recorded, so if you missed the last few moments, that you can always go back and watch what you've missed. There are these 5 different options when it comes to choosing a homepage. You have the course activity stream, the page's front page, which we just demonstrated for you, your course modules, an assignment list, and the syllabus. Now, there are 2 of these that are really going to be the most meaningful ones to you and the most meaningful for students. And those are your page's front page or course modules. Those are the 2 most commonly used types of homepages. Front pages by far is the most common. When templates are designed to be used at an institution, front pages are what they use to create a customized experience. So I'm sorry, I'm just shrinking some stuff off to the side that I don't need. Okay. Your course activity stream is going to show you all of the recent activity that occurs in a course. It's thinking. Right now, I don't have any recent activity. But if I had assignment submissions or comments made on discussion boards, or I changed a due date for something, that's going to show in the recent activity stream. Now, that's really great if you want students to be up to date with things that are going on in a course, but it's really not meaningful because it doesn't really provide students with the knowledge of what they need to do in the course to get started with their work. Course modules is the default homepage option of all courses when they're created. The best practice here with modules is to create a welcome or introduction module that would go at the top of the page. And we'll talk a little bit more about this when we do the leveraging module session. But here's where you would include a lot of the important information that's linked on that homepage, such as expectations for coursework. Maybe you'll put the syllabus in here. Maybe you'll put a list of your policy or what your office hours are. You might put an outline for each week's study and what you'll be covering those weeks. So maybe you'll put links to all the required text for your students. But it takes work to build that out. And then the more and more modules you have in your class, the more and more scrolling students will have to do. And research shows that students don't like to scroll anymore. Boggles the mind. The assignment list is useful if you have a primarily face-to-face course and only want to use your Canvas course as a way for students to submit their assignments. What it's going to do, it'll look slightly different for teachers than it will for the students in the class, but it's going to list all of the assignments in the course. For students, it's going to list them by their due dates. For teachers, it's going to list them by the assignment groups that they're associated with. Now, it's really nice that all of your assignments are listed in one place, but it may actually display assignments in an order that's different than how you want your students to complete them. Like I said, it's based on the due dates. They will also see any missed assignments or late assignments on that page. So let me come back to choose homepage. And the final option here is that syllabus option that's also linked here in the course navigation menu. Yes, I'm going to share a link to that PowerPoint with the recommended banner and button sizes in the chat in just a few minutes when we're closing out. So this is a syllabus view. And what I like about the syllabus view is that you also get the edit option and access to the rich content editor, which allows you to create this as a more engaging place for students to navigate. So here you can see I did use a table to organize the content, but it is not more than 3 columns in width. And it also has proper formatting for a screen reader. Right now, it's telling me that there's an accessibility issue with this because I don't have a caption, and I could add a caption for this if I want. And I can click apply, and now there are no issues with my accessibility of my table. Now, this is really neat. However, over time, the information in the syllabus remains static and doesn't change. On your course homepage, if you're using a content page, you can always go in there and create new links or change some of the information that's displayed, or you can switch out the page completely to be a different page as a homepage. But your syllabus is a great place to come and embed documents or images. So in the syllabus space, we also have a course summary, and it will show up by default. What it is going to do is it's going to list all of the assignments in the course, no matter if they're published or unpublished. They will display here based on their due dates and times as well. It will link directly to the assignment so the student can get to the assignment from the syllabus as well as through modules. Now, you can choose to hide this. I can uncheck the box and say update syllabus, and it will remove the course summary, or it should. Oh, it's thinking. There we go. So now that course summary is gone, and it's just the information that was in the rich content editor. So again, I can click on edit. I can scroll down, and I can choose to show or hide the course summary. It's still thinking. Now, with screen readers, it's always considered a best practice to copy and paste text right into the Canvas learning management system because we have the immersive reader, which is a really powerful tool. We'll cover this a little more in depth in just a few moments. But if you really wanted to save time, you could also come in here and insert your actual maybe Word document or PDF that you have of your syllabus. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click into my rich content editor space. And this time I want to insert a document, and I'm going to say upload document. I'm going to search my computer. And I'm going to search for my syllabus. I have one in here somewhere. Okay, here's a syllabus that I have. So I'm going to select my syllabus. I'm going to select open, and then I'm going to say submit. Now, when you're inserting documents into your rich content editor, it is considered a best practice to go to your link options and change the text name to be more reader friendly. And then you also have display options. Right now, and I see this one used often in higher ed, is the preview and overlay, but we also have the preview inline. That's a really powerful tool. So I'm just going to click on preview inline, and I'm going to expand it by default so you can see what that looks like first, and then I'll go back and show you what it looks like when using it in other ways. So I'm going to say done, and I'm going to update my syllabus. And what it's going to do is actually going to have the syllabus here with all of my weights and required text and all the important information for students as an embedded document right on the page, so students aren't clicking and opening up files elsewhere. And then it just moved the rest of the content further down. So that's what it looks like when it's expanded by default. I can minimize this view. And this little button here means that I can download it as well. So let me come back to edit, and I'm going to click on my link options again. So I can remove the preview, and what it's going to do is give the students the option to expand it right here within the page. So here on the page, I can click on the words and it'll expand it for me. And then the third option that you have is the one that it defaulted to, which is to preview in overlay. And like I said, this is really commonly used in higher ed. But what that does is now when I click on the words, it literally creates an overlay on top of the Canvas course. And what I find is students always end up closing out completely by clicking on the X versus hitting the close button in the top right-hand corner because it's really dim and hard to see. Students can also download the document from here and zoom in and zoom out. But those are the options that you have when you want to embed your syllabus into a course. So lots of flexibility and lots of freedom. Like I said, the two most commonly used types of home pages are front pages, which is why we spent so much time on it. And the other one is modules, which we will explore a little more in depth at a future date. Let me make sure that I come in here and get the link for you, paste it somewhere. Uh-oh, I'll have to go and find it. It's not in my slide deck for some reason. Okay, so let me move this over. I'm going to come back here. We are finishing a little bit early. I'm going to give you a link to this badge. If you have your phone on you, you're welcome to scan it. This is for a badge at Canvas. We always award badges after training. If you haven't already created a free Canvas credentials account, if you scan that QR code or click on that link, it's going to ask you to create an account. And it's going to automatically load the badge to your backpack. And those badges can follow you and you can build upon those. I also want to provide to you the link to the resource document one more time. And then I want to grab that link, which I thought I had in my slide deck, but it is not here. So let me grab it for you. And that is under... I'm going to have to find that. Where did I put it? It's not there. I will find it in just a few moments. I am going to stop my share so you don't have to view all of my images, and I am going to stop the recording. It's been a pleasure presenting for you. And if you have any questions, I'll hang out for a few more minutes because we do have some more time. Or if you want me to show you something again, I'm more than happy to do so.